Hello, and welcome back to MoJo JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the one and only Powerpuff Girls / JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast. I'm Raven.
And I'm Alison.
Today we're going to be talking some more Powerpuff Girls. If you haven't been listening in order or what have you, we're on season 2. We're talking the Powerpuff Girls' best rainy day adventure ever and just desserts this week. I don't think there's any news, so I'm going to start talking about our first episode. It has the longest title in the series, so I'm not going to repeat it. I'm just going to get on into it. It's a rainy day in Townsville, and no one is doing anything because of the weather. Buttercup is impatient and annoyed and says she needs to punch, nearly striking Bubbles. Blossom says she wishes she were fighting crime too, but not to take it out on Bubbles. Blossom and Buttercup argue, but Bubbles suggests they play pretend and have an adventure of their own inside the house. Blossom takes on the role of the narrator and sets up the city with block letters when Buttercup, dressed as an alligator, attacks. Blossom is upset because she wasn't finished setting up, and the two argue who's in charge of the city, until Bubbles ties her pigtails in front of her face and pretends to be the mayor, and the other two fall in place. Mayor Bubbles calls on Ms. Bellum to tell her how to run the city. Blossom in heels and with plushies stuffed in her top, and picks up the hotline and calls on the girls when Blossom Bellum tells her about the monster attacking the city. The hotline calls the real mayor, and he is so eager to help that he falls out of a window and into the mud. Buttercup gives up her role as the alligator monster and pretends to be Blossom. Blossom is pissed because she really is Blossom and wants to play as herself as well. Buttercup says she can be Bubbles, but neither of them want to pretend to be Bubbles, so they argue until the professor gets involved and they convince him to play Bubbles instead. Her dress is so small on him, it might as well be a crop top, and he's done his hair in pigtails. Buttercup and Bubbles, as Blossom and Buttercup, attack the monster, now played by Blossom, in slow motion, but are defeated until Professor Bubbles saves the day. After defeating the monster, the professor goes back to his lab. Bubbles and Buttercup say they've saved the day, but Blossom says they haven't found the real culprit. Bubbles suggests that Fuzzy Lumpkins has brought the gator to life with his magic banjo, but Blossom and Buttercup say that would be too creative of Fuzzy. Buttercup suggests that him has the smarts, means, and wardrobe to pull off the crime. But Blossom, as MoJo, says that MoJo JoJo was the real perpetrator. Bubbles gets a little too overeager and actually attacks Blossom, slamming her through the wall, so Blossom repeatedly reminds her that this is just a game. MoJo Blossom challenges the girls to hide and seek and hides under the bathroom sink, but they give up and she hides there for 2.5 hours. Buttercup and Bubbles are playing video games together instead, and Blossom gets so impatient with them for not playing or attacking her that she yanks out the game cartridge. Giggling, they chase after her and roll all around. The sun comes out and the hotline rings, and the mayor says that an alligator controlled by MoJo is terrorizing the city. The girls are as reluctant to save the day now as they were to accept the rainy day earlier. Even the narrator is unenthused and says he wanted to pretend to be Bubbles. So like I said, it has the longest episode title in the series. When the girls are playing video games, it looks like they're playing Nintendo 64, but the game looks like a version of Pitfall on the Atari 2600, and it is one of Craig McCracken's top 10 favorite episodes.
I thought it was a cute episode. It's a cute idea to have them pretend to be themselves, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites as well. It's really cute, I think. It's nice to see them, what they get up to when they're not fighting crime and just doing little kid stuff.
I'm not sure why some of the activities couldn't happen in the rain, though.
Yes, like they said, like there's no government that day, even.
Apparently, there's no postal workers.
It's the one city on Earth where they don't make the postal workers go out in the pouring rain.
I like Blossom as Miss Bellum, and she had like her boobs were 2 stuffed animals. She kind of did like a little breathy voice for it. And then it was sad nobody wanted to be Bubbles.
They were so mean to Bubbles.
And then Bubbles tried to be Bubbles, and they told her that she couldn't be Bubbles. It was very upset.
Yeah, I thought it was cute. Then I know the professor just wanted to get back to his work, but then that he agreed to play as Bubbles. It's like, fine, I'll do this if you'll stop arguing.
Yeah, it looked pretty hilarious, because I think he was down to his boxer shorts, and then he had, like, knee socks, like black knee socks and shoes on. It was cute.
Yeah. And then it was kind of funny then that they almost like predicted the next thing that was going to happen, the next attack on Townsville, because when the mayor calls them, like I said, like the alligator was controlled by MoJo JoJo.
Yeah, it was like the exact same situation.
Yeah. It's like for them, maybe things have just gotten so predictable that they can just kind of like come up with a random scenario and be right.
Okay, so the next episode is just desserts, and these both first aired April 28th, 2000. So this was supposed to take place 1 week after Supper Villain. Everything is average about Harold Smith. Townsville is peaceful because of the girls, or actually the Townsville Correctional Facility, where poor diminutive Harold now resides next to big, burly, muscular men. The prisoners eat slop, and Harold makes license plates and helps spot a fellow inmate lifting weights. Harold is released from prison and he returns home, and Professor tries to shrink into the bushes next door. Marianne confronts Harold. He apologizes for embarrassing her and the family, but she mostly blames the girls and wants to destroy them. They are both creepily turned on by this. Julie comes running in and declares she hates the girls because they stole her jacks, and Bud hates everything. They become a supervillain family and change into their super cool outfits except for Harold. Marianne has a supervillain minivan in the garage already equipped with weapons and leather interior. The Smiths peek at the Utonium family in disgust and break into their house after they leave for the supermarket. Professor and the girls are shocked at the state of their home when they return, so Marianne goes over with cookies to witness their sadness. While they are sad, they say that everything will be okay because they still have each other. So Marianne runs home and has them suit up and get back in the minivan and crashes into the Utonium house and tries to run them over. The girls fly all over with Professor, but eventually punch and destroy the Smith car. Mrs. Smith says she did all that because they drove her husband insane and sent him to jail, but most of all, because they ruined her dinner. The girls say, "Is that all?" and then slap them silly and send the whole family to jail.
It's wild to me that that was just like supposed to be 1 week later.
Yeah, because he threatened to like melt the professor's head off or whatever.
Yes.
And I don't think he had the means to actually do that, but he did kind of hold them all hostage in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, I feel like he looked like he was in prison. I don't think you're like sent to prison for just like a week.
No. There'd be no way. Probably you're looking at least 30 days.
I feel like I liked Supper Villain better. There was more kind of like maybe like a slow lead up to him kind of going cuckoo.
Yeah.
She almost looked like Mrs. Incredible in like her outfit. Like their outfits were sleek and he still wasn't his like red long underwear. And they even said there that they had a long time to create these things, and it's like, so how is this just a week later?
Yes, exactly. And their fucking minivan looked like some shit out of Death Race.
I don't know. The mom, Marianne, she was just kind of annoying. Like they would show her as like just like her teeth were enormous. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. She looks like an orange come to life.
I just think he had more, I don't know, she was kind of like a Stepford wife, like a trad wife type thing. But like, I feel like he had more to kind of be maybe disgruntled about.
Yes, yeah.
His job was crappy, like at the mustard factory. And then, I don't know, I feel like maybe his family kind of wasn't very thankful. And then like the Bud kid, he's just like, he hates everything. He's kind of like a jerk.
Yeah.
And he just sort of found like the Utonium family annoying, I guess, and he just really didn't want them in his house. Maybe he should have just like had a conversation with Marianne about it. And I think she's just more about like how she's supposed to act or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they had this whole thing where they were in this standoff with, I think it was with MoJo at the time, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it was horrible for 3 days, and like we should invite them over for dinner because they had such a horrible time. Like, I'm not really sure if she actually liked them or not, but it was more like that's what you're supposed to do for your neighbor type thing.
Right.
Because I'm sure like occasionally a dinner gets ruined. I guess if I worked on pies and then people threw them, I guess I would be pretty upset, but I don't know that that would turn me into
I don't think that would become my supervillain origin story.
Supervillain. And like Harold, again, he was just like holding a blow dryer up to the professor's head. And she like had like a car with real weapons on it. And she was trying to drive, like run them over.
Yeah.
In their house.
Yeah.
Like destroy their house. Like they wrecked the whole inside of the house. So she's like way more of a villain than he ever was. Got to be.
Yeah.
And like little kids say that stuff all the time. Like, oh, I hate them. They stole my jacks, which I kind of doubt that the Powerpuff Girls stole her jacks, but you kind of say that sometimes, like when you're playing. Like, I lost, so I hate them now. And then the next day you're back to playing with them. So I really don't think the little girl was serious, and Bud just kind of went along with it because he like hates everything, but yeah, like Marianne might be the craziest of the bunch.
Yes. All that over some ruined pies.
The girls didn't turn him insane. I think it was really just like his family dynamic.
Yeah.
And he did come back and apologize. I think he just was burnt out.
Yeah. I was thinking, and maybe they wouldn't bring this up. I mean, could show, like, maybe, they probably wouldn't put you in jail for a week, but they might put you in, like, a psychiatric hold for that length of time. Maybe that's more what they should have done with Harold, or it would have made more sense, but anyways.
Yeah. They probably could have worded it in a certain way, but yeah, could have had it be, like, 1 year later or 6 months later or something.
Yeah. In jail, apparently, it works however the hell they feel like it in Townsville. Because MoJo will be like, they'll send him to jail, he'll be out for lunch, and he'll be back to building his model ships again.
Yeah, his whole thing doesn't make sense. They're always like his secret lair, and it's like this big tower right in the middle of like the
park.
The park in town. Like, and it's tall. It's not like has a secret entrance really even, or like is hidden in any way.
It's not even like they have multiple volcanoes either. He's on top of the one volcano layer that there could be in the entire town.
And they send little kids to jail and all kinds of crap.
Yeah. I know they're not aiming for realism with this show, but still, what do you think they do?
Maybe just a little consistency.
Yes.
I guess I didn't pay attention. Was Mrs. Smith the one driving the car, or did he do that?
I don't remember. I assumed it was her, but I can't remember.
I mean, I feel like this was mostly just all her.
Yeah.
Harold really could have just asked them to leave.
Yeah.
Although I don't know. Maybe he didn't he even like tell Marianne, or I don't know, like he didn't want them there or something, or like I forget what was said there. Like he just wanted to come home and like have quiet, I think.
Yeah.
But I guess that's all I have to say. Marianne
she's off her rocker.
Unhinged.
Yes. Yeah.
Like sort of feel bad for Harold at this point.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't think I have anything to add. So thank you so much for checking out the podcast. If you haven't already, it would be super cool if you could leave us some reviews. We'd love to get some feedback on the show. I think the best places to do that are Apple Podcast and Spotify. I know you can leave reviews there for sure. And, not just starred reviews, but you can like leave, say a couple sentences or a paragraph or whatever. Just let us know how you think the show's been going, or you have ideas or opinions about Powerpuff Girls or JoJo, you can leave them there, or also on my YouTube channel, because I also post episodes there. And we have a second newer podcast, if you haven't checked that out either. It's called What We Pod in the Shadows, and it is about what we do in the shadows, a sitcom about vampires who live in Manhattan. And it's a mockumentary.
Staten Island.
Staten Island, yes. My bad. My
call to action for this episode is what small transgression could your neighbor do that would turn you into an evil supervillain?
I know you maybe don't want me to answer this, but I feel like if someone broke one of my like collectibles or my DVDs or something, it would be like the episode of Community where they accidentally break Abed's signed by Christopher Nolan Batman DVD, and then he becomes Batman, trying to find the stuff. That would be me.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes, like, I'm trying to think of stuff that's happened over the years. Of course, we've had some awful things that neighbors have done to us, but just some, like, little things, or like, oh, I'm gonna mow the grass, or I'm gonna use the blower real early in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know if the other one had a good call to action type thing.
Yeah. Unless it's like, what was your favorite thing to play pretend when you were a small child?
Yeah, I was trying to think of that, and I can't really think of what we kind of like reenacted like the Thriller video a whole lot in my basement. But other than that,
That's extremely 80s of you.
that tells you how old I was or how old I am.
Yeah, this probably dates me also. That me, my brother, and then my best friend, we would pretend to be the Teen Titans as younger siblings, and we would defeat Barbies. That part maybe doesn't age it as well, but that's what we would do. Like, oh no, the evil Barbies have kidnapped such and such once again. Mind you, the original Teen Titans, not Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to the pod. So yeah, and until next time, I'll be the roundabout. Goodbye.
Goodbye.